So the far left has really lost its mind over Dave Chappelle. Ever since he put out the special The Closer, in which he took aim at some of the far left's sacred cows, they have pretty much declared war on him. As you can see here, the critical score for The Closer is only 40%. But we know that these people are mostly activists, so you can pretty much just ignore what they have to say. It's all politically motivated. But when it comes to the audience score, and, the audience are the people that really matter, 95% liked it. So regular people like Dave Chappelle. And even if they don't like every opinion that he has, they still recognize that he's a great comedian and a great storyteller. And so they're okay with not agreeing with every single thing he said, but that's normal people. But you would think that being that popular would insulate you from, like cancel culture, say. Well, kind of yes and no. So he had a show booked in Minneapolis at, I believe it was Prince's Club. It was the club in Purple Rain, I believe. But he had a show booked there, and it got canceled. And why? Well, it wasn't because of a popular uprising. It was because of a handful of lunatics. Here we see from Andy No. Breaking: militant far-left groups in Minneapolis are calling for a violent direct action against Dave Chappelle's show tonight. They led an onslaught against First Avenue and successfully pressured it to cancel. Now the show has moved to Varsity Theater. So what were these crazy people doing? They were tweeting stuff like this: "There is no world that should exist where TERFs," that's trans exclusionary radical feminists. So that's radical feminists, but they believe in biology. So TERFs and transphobes, and of course, transphobes includes the group of people that doesn't think you should just be going around castrating and sterilizing children. So, normal people. But anyway, there is no world that should exist where TERFs and transphobes feel comfortable oppressing our trans comrades. Comrades, that's because they're communists. That's where they say comrade, right? And that's really what this is all about. It's about going from class Marxism to basically race and identity Marxism. But anyway, show up tonight to let Dave Chappelle, his fans, and First Ave know their hatred isn't welcome here. Now, anybody who saw The Closer knows that Dave Chappelle does not hate trans people. That show is not about hatred. But, all of this tweet, these protests, these threats, they're not about Dave Chappelle. They're about ideology. And they're about by any means necessary. It says, cover your face and stay dangerous. So I guess that could be translated as be violent and make sure you cover your face so you won't be identified. And here is where the original venue, First Avenue, caves and bends the knee to, again, a handful of lunatics. The Dave Chappelle show tonight at First Avenue has been canceled and is moving to the Varsity Theater. Yes, you're a symbol now of capitulation to political violence. We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression. Okay, so what are you going to say now? There's a but, isn't there? Oh yeah, it says but. See, you don't really need to read any further after you see the word but let's do it anyway. But in honoring that, we lost sight of the impact this would have. So you're not honoring that. You are not honoring the your belief in diverse voices and freedom of artistic expression. You are bowing to fascists. Yeah, I know they call themselves anti-fascists, but when they act exactly like fascists, maybe they are. I mean, whoever wrote this sentence, I wonder if it occurred to them that this sentence is garbage. We believe in diverse voices and freedom of artistic expression, but in honoring that, we lost sight of the impact this would have. Well, then you don't believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression. It's as simple as that. You should have just said that. You should have said in this sentence, we don't believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression, because that would be true. So did the cancel culture work? Well, again, yes and no. They did cancel him from one venue. He did still perform anyway at another venue, but it's not without damage. I guess you could call it a limited success for far-left lunatics, and it will encourage them. Because if they can get, probably the most famous comedian in the world canceled from a venue, that's a victory for them, even if he goes to a different venue. And what happens when it's somebody who's not as famous as Dave Chappelle? Well, there's a lot less hand-wringing over it, isn't there? They just don't book him. If there's any chance that there's going to be any protest about anything, they're not going to get booked. But anyway, and this is louder with Crowder.com. Chappelle performed at Variety Theater, where he laughed off the controversy like he was always going to do. No cell phones were allowed, but Chappelle was said to have called his critics, quote, a small group of transgender lunatics, and slammed First Avenue for not having more courage. Quote, I can see a transgender hit squad from a mile off, so he wasn't worried. But anyway, this group of crazy people are not happy that Dave Chappelle is still going to perform, albeit in a different theater. They say, brave comrades. They always say comrades. Again. It's because they're communists. But anyway, brave comrades showed up in numbers to confront those who put their money behind transphobia. Varsity Theater plans to host Chappelle for 2 more nights. To the employees of the Varsity, we hope you hold back your labor and strike. So, they're encouraged. They're encouraged by the fact that the first place canceled. To their eyes, they're seeing that their far-left authoritarianism is working. And as long as venues or just anybody kneels to them, well, it is working. Anyway, please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I notice when people share my content, it makes a big difference. Thank you for that. I'll see you next time.